Is when they ask critically discuss, you have to write pros and cons. Many times they ask generic question, it demands so many things to be interlinked. Elections are not regularly held. So in absence of well-educated organized local self-government system, panchayat and committees have remained mainly political institution, not effective instrument of governance. Now you can address, let's say, lack of this well-educated organized local self-government system. So well-educated, their education level of those functionary problem, you have to talk functionary problem, how the ARC second highlights. But you will write that there are also other factors. It is not only well-educated, but there are also other factors, 3F factors. The 3F will have function, funds and finance. Function, functionary, finance. That I could write this. Now, local self-government system in India has not proved to be effective instrument of governance. Critically examine the statement, give your view. Right, to improve it, it is a straightforward question, so you write on this. This question you write.
Sir, in this number one question, sir, this type of where there is a general statement and then it will critically discuss. So, sir, what should be the best approach for this? Because where should we consider?
See, time to time they keep changing their commands. This was once they had asked this type of commands. Critically discuss, critically comment. Thereafter they have not asked. Critically discuss is basically a sort of pros and cons. This you can say. Critically discuss. This you can say. So, as we told that, it is not only about education, but there are also other factors. So, that way you have to answer. Because when they ask critically discuss, you have to write pros and cons. Yes. So you will support yes, well education, but thereafter you will say no, it is not necessarily because education may not necessarily affect leadership. There are less link between education and leadership. Yes. There are other factors. You will write those factors. Right. Now it is saying critically examine the statement. Right. This critically examine, let's say that if I will tell, then you will know how to write answers. Critically examine here means the given question is not completely correct. Thus, if it says that local government system in India has not proved to be effective instrument, काफी extreme हो गया. Right. First you will have to write how it is not effective, but then you have to counter that we cannot say that. Right. There are good practices also. You will have to find out positive aspects, regular elections, constitution of state finance commission, some best practices by states, those things you have to write. And then you have to suggest how we can improve. So that way we have to write on this. Then assess the importance of panchayat system as part of local government. This importance kya hai local government mein, panchayat system. You can write it is about self-governance, participation of people, democratization and this and that. Apart from government grants, what sources of panchayat can look out for financing development projects? Okay. So what they can have? Development projects, how they can have other things? What panchayats can have other aspects, let's say, so that they can finance their development projects. No, that is included. Apart from grants, let's say, sorry, yes. Grants, let's say. So others are, let's say, tax and non-tax. Tax and non-tax revenues. Tax may you can talk. We told about 78 different types of own sources of revenue they can generate. World Bank talks about. So that we can talk. And we told you some of the things, user charges, this property tax, this and that will told. That can be considered. Fees from capital assets, no. So they can generate some different types of fees from capital assets. मार्केट जैसे मार्केट वगैरह होता है वहाँ से फीस जनरेट और वी से लोकल मार्केट जो लगता है दे कैन लेट्स से दैट कि चार्ज सम फीस ऑन दैट दिस तो दैट एस्पेक्ट यू कैन कंसीडर दे कैन कैपिटल असेट्स अर्निंग दे कैन हैव जैसे फिशरीज वगैरह होता है लोकल लेवल पे दिस तो दे कैन क्रिएट असेट्स जैसे कोई गवर्नमेंट का प्रॉपर्टी है उसको असेट्स में वो कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं दिस क्रिएट करने को जैसे सिंपल एग्जांपल कि इन अर्बन एरिया गवर्नमेंट हैज़ स्पेस उस स्पेस को वो मैरिज हॉल की तरह यूज कर सकते हैं यस दिस द डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ दे कैन प्रोवाइड लाइक से कि यहाँ भी है लेट्स विल फाइंड दैट इन मोहल्लाज यू विल फाइंड दैट देयर इज अ गवर्नमेंट बिल्डिंग DDA building you can say it is DDA building government building right so that way let's say कि they can generate this you can say this plus at local level they can also have crowdfunding let's say that they can do crowdfunding they can have PPP type of local level contract basis the local contracts they can give this so that those things can be written when you write on this. Then reservation of seats for women in the institution of local server has made it limited impact on patriarchal character of political process. It's simple. We told ki how let's say ki Punjab example we gave Pradhanpati other things. But you should not say it is limited. You should say that it is comment. Let's say ki India has largest level of women participation. Yes, Kerala you can say that. You can see it does have good, let's say that impact. That can be considered like strengthen. Functionality we have already talked. It's about their effective functioning, let's say that. This. And then to what extent in your opinion as decentralization of power in India change the governance landscape at grassroots? Governance wala part we have not talked to you. So this but it is related to let's say ki Manrega basically governance landscape let's say decentralization but then you have to bring all different types of knowledge this and then you have to talk you don't have to talk only 73rd amendment you have to also talk about social audit you have to talk about RTI. These things we have not talked, right? Because you have to relate. It is related to governance, let's say that. Governance. This. Yes, civil society organization, let's say. The civil society organizations, self-help groups. So basically you have to link all and you have to write this. So it demands many a time they ask generic question. It demands so many things to be interlinked. I think 74th wala is not given. It will be somewhere. 74, 2023 they asked that question. So now it is simple question, functionally and financially. So we have told that how financially they are weak. So financially yesterday we told. Right. On Saturday, we told about financial aspect, urban local bodies and finances and the problems that you know that. Now, functionally is you have to link with 18 subjects. You have to link with 18 subjects. This. And those 18 subjects, so let's say there is lack of functional devolution of power. How you will talk? The district planning committee not constituted. Metropolitan planning not properly constituted. This you can say. Then elections, you know that. Elections, you know the problem. Elections are not regularly held. That way, let's say. Because empowerment has not been done. Plus, they have not been given adequate taxation power, etc. You'll find this. That way you can link about function. Similarly, let's say functionally you can also talk that segregation has not been done. There is lack of segregation जिसको बोलते हैं activity mapping basically. Activity mapping means कि let's say कि कोई education है, तो education function if you devolve, तो what should be the role of a corporation in education? Because education level of planning is done at state level also. So what role will be performed by corporation? What role performed by municipality, Nagar Panchayat? Now, within municipality, Nagar Panchayat, what role will be performed by ward committees? So have you brought separation of power? This is corporation role in education and this is ward committee role in education. Yes. So that was also highlighted by ARC second. That time I did not tell because so many things happen, technicality, but yes, when you deal questions, so those things are needed. So ARC second recommended that we should do activity mapping. Activity mapping means clearly defining the role and function of each unit. Like say कि corporation, ward committees, the different ward members that you have, the ward committees, their role and function, council function in case of education or health and other activities. This. So that way you can write plus some best practices, some way forward. That is how you should write it, right? So you write this answer, one urban related question, one rural related question. Yes.